ABSL Summit. Transform to thrive.
Hello, good afternoon. I guess you can hear me. I'm just checking if we're sitting in the right order on stage. It's incredibly important because you need to somehow be able to manage who's who. I would like to kindly ask you to welcome warmly on this stage Kasia Wysocka, representing City of Krakow. We have Łukasz Wielochowski from Moderna. Grzegorz Mucha, representing Shell. Patrycja Lech-Grzesińska, 3M. And Andrew Harding, who gave us a proper warm-up for this conversation, AICPA and CIMA. So first and foremost, thank you for staying, and welcome to the main event of the day. I personally believe we're up for a very, very important conversation, which basically is how do we move this industry up the value chain, and can KIBS be a way for us to steer away for some of the problems that we're facing for the whole industry in Poland and not only. And this has been a great day so far, without a doubt. You've heard fantastic things about our industry. So the employment is up by 3.8%, I think. The number of companies operating in our industry is up, which probably means that ABSL is happy. We're getting more members, and then the parties can be even better, and this event, the venue, next year even more, the next level. But the reality is that this day could have looked quite differently, to be honest. And there are some clear dark clouds on the horizon as we look at it. First risk that we're facing is obviously geopolitics. And I guess that's not only a buzzword, but now something that is really present in the boardrooms where decisions are being made about whether to invest in Poland or not. The second thing is the topic of cost, and I'm deliberately not saying only about inflation, but the overall cost of running business in Poland is probably rising faster than the efficiency of majority of our centers. Talent has been a big topic for us. I mean, we've been proud of talents that are present in this country, and without a doubt, we're famous for it. But talents are also scarce at the moment, and we know that really good people are really expensive. And finally, the leadership. So probably on this stage, you see like 80, at least, years of combined experience of working in this industry. But have we done enough to actually make sure that we have a pipeline that is strong enough to take us over the next 5 years to help develop things like KIBS and basically keep Poland where we are today at the top or close to the top of the competitive pyramid. And what's at stake? At stake is what this industry is providing as an output. That's pretty much 5% of Polish GDP. 5% of Polish GDP. This is incredible amount of value that it generates, but with great power comes great responsibility. Now, I'm going to shoot to you, Andrew, first with a simple question, almost yes-no type of a question. Like, if Poland, if all of us just continue to do more of what we've been doing, more of the same, is this going to be enough to keep our competitive advantage? And is this going to be enough for KIBS industry to grow in Poland?
You want yes or no?
Yes or no?
No.
Why?
Because everyone else is moving ahead.
What should we do then?
And what should you do? I mean, the answer is invest in skills, invest in capability, invest in competence, drive yourself. Start driving value from GBS centers. Become a value center rather than a cost center.
Mm-hmm. What do you think, guys? What should we do? How do we grow our competencies? Łukasz, Moderna is one of the newest entrants to the industry in Poland. I mean, you guys don't have a long history. You've been just going through the growth phase. And I guess the quality of leadership was quite essential for you to set up properly the company, to pick the right skills, make sure that it's up for the challenge of not only the setup, but the next 3-5 years. Can you tell us about 3-5 things that you're looking in your leadership potential today?
Thank you, Eric, for the question. It's a pleasure to be part of this panel. So before I answer the question, maybe I give a bit of background of Moderna for you to know. So we are relatively a very young company. We have been established in 2010 in US, and before COVID outbreak, we were known only in US as a biotech startup company. So the COVID was an unfortunate situation, but for the company, it was a big challenge. Before 2021, we did not have any operations outside US. So with the COVID vaccine getting commercial, we had to establish legal entities all across the globe. We had to manufacture 800 million doses of vaccine, and we had to establish all the backbone of international footprint of our company. So we set ourselves, for the company, 4 areas, traits of people, basically, not leaders. I will talk about leaders in a sec. So first, we want to be bold. And we are bold as a company. The first bold decision that took place was to establish a hub in Poland. So imagine, there are no legal entities, no finance, no legal, nothing. And the company is saying, look, we are opening a hub in Poland to support the growth and scalability of our future operations outside US. So I think it was a very bold decision. The second is curiosity. We encourage everyone to be curious, and we also create a workplace where curiosity is number 1. So to give you an example, we have entered into a cooperation with OpenAI, and everyone from our employees has access to the latest OpenAI ChatGPT Enterprise and can really play, create new GPTs, do whatever they want, really to see what the technology brings and how we can take most of it. The third trait is collaboration. So this is something that we truly value. We are a small company, 6,000 people all across the globe. In Poland, we have 200 colleagues, and we collaborate all across the globe. The lines to our executive committee are very, very lean. So we can really send an email to our EC members, we can invite them for events, and we truly collaborate all together. And last but not least is being relentless. So we have made a lot of mistakes when we were creating Hub in Poland, but being relentless keeps us going. So really we failed many times, and our CEO failed many times, but we keep going and we develop new products to help our patients. Coming to the leadership, I think what has changed in the past years is the work environment. First of all, we live in a very dynamic work environment, COVID, technology. So we, as leaders, need to be much more adaptable to the changing business environment. I think that's key. The second is, I think, the empathy. Something that used to be a soft skill is, I think, number 2 skill that the leader should have. The work-life balance, everything that we talk these days is something that would not happen without talking to people, without really being empathetic of what people think, of what your stakeholders think. And we truly live in a global workplace, so we also need to understand different cultures. And the third one is being digital savvy. We tend to say IT should cover all the digital aspects of our company. That's not true. I think AI is democratizing the digital landscape, and we as leaders need to understand how to make best of it and how to train our colleagues and how to use those capabilities to the best use of our company. So I would say that.
Thank you so much for this, Łukasz. I think great stuff about leadership and generally the requirement for us not to sleep over the change that is coming. I think over the years, the types of competencies that we're clearly looking for have changed as well. Now, Patrycja, this industry has been a lot about people. And frankly, you know, things have changed quite a lot. We've been working, some of us have been working for the past 15, almost 20 years. and the times when it was actually sexy to get yourself a career in this industry, I think that they are pretty much gone, right? Back in the day, it was a great place to start, speak English, develop, learn about big world, sometimes even get free tickets to the cinema. But I think some of those perks are no longer there. Patrycja, a question to you. How do we attract people back into this industry? And what maybe in particular we need to be successful with what KIBS is going to ask us for as a type of a service?
It's a very good question. And I think we should ask AI to tell us the answer. Well, yeah, that's something that we in 3M, we pay a lot of attention to in order to keep the talents, but as well to grow talents. And we know we are successful in some of the areas, and we have an exchange with Moderna leader about the great talents we have. But if we look from the talent perspective, I think GBS and being sexy or attractive to the people, I think it's not enough, because you can have the talents that are working for you, but are not fully committed to what you do, and are actually not fully enjoying what they do. And in order to move to the next level, and we need to do it rather fast if we want to be really on the positive side of that change, I think we need to invest more in developing people and in looking more at the new generations that are, I think, creating for us as leaders pretty challenging environment. When I look at the talents that I have around me and the talents that I discuss a lot during the number of the interviews, conferences, and speeches, when I ask people, okay, so what is important for you as a person? What do you really, where do you want to be, and what is important for you? The first, I would say, answer in all of the surveys, all of the conversations I have is learning and development. But learning and development of the competences that are currently not existing. So it's very difficult for, I think, for the industry to define a very robust and very defined path for the generation that we have currently on the market. So I think we as leaders, all together, not necessarily only in one company, I think we need to really focus on the competences of the future and properly prepare our talents to take the next job, the next level of the profiles that we'll create. And I know we should say artificial intelligence, machine learning, and all of the stuff is coming our way faster than we expect. I think we were talking about it for quite few last years, but now, at least from the 3M perspective, it's really coming our way. We started executing the automation, and we started feeling that coming really the way of our people. So we need to really be fast in terms of the learning and development of the new competences. What I think is the most important for people as well is to be part of the change. So whenever we are introducing a change, we need to let them drive it for us. So it will be more successful, we will then be having less fears in the organization, and we will create this new generation of the talents that we should have. And to add to that, I think the modern leadership, that's critical. I think we need to focus as well on our medium-low level of the leaders in the organization that are more empathic, that are more focused on the people rather than on the process. And to maybe finish my short answer to that question, I think what is important for people as well is not only about it's not the knowledge, it's not the process, but it's as well important how I, as an employee, am engaged. So think about what are the small things sometimes that are directly impacting our employees. And it can be an initiative, it can be a volunteer program, it can be a number of the CSR activities, but also, we implemented in 3M very recently the day off for the birthday. Now, this is important for people. So the work-life balance, what company is giving me as a person on the personal, private level, so I can spend and invest my private time in a way I want. Okay. I think this is important.
Excellent stuff. Andrew, you wanted to compliment that?
Yeah, I was interested in what Patricia was saying about people wanting to develop skills which today didn't exist. That sounds like almost an impossible task. But what I was touching on earlier, what I was calling power skills, are skills which exist today, but they're skills which very few people can actually deploy and master. Partly because of the way in which they're taught, things like critical thinking, systems thinking. People try and teach that at high school, but it's taught as a discrete subject, and it doesn't work. But taught in context, it can be done, and it can be effective. So the idea that the skills that are going to make a difference to you don't exist today, there are an awful lot of them that are, and what we're seeing now is, with the advent of modern training, modern development, those skills, critical thinking, persuasiveness, influencing, impact, can be taught, they can be learned, they can be developed, they can be practiced. And so it's not quite as difficult as saying this skill is unknown, because there are some key skills out there, and those skills have been important since man's been on Earth, and those are the skills that leaders have always exhibited, and we can all learn and develop those.
Thank you so much. So it's not only about trying to figure out what's next, but also don't forget about the things that actually work and make us who we are, being empathy, being curiosity, being boldness in day-to-day work. Good, Grzegorz, I think a question for you which may be interesting to a broader auditorium as well. Like, you've been in this industry for 15, almost 20 years, right? And you sit in the rooms where the decisions are made, and clearly, I mean, what is being told about Poland has certainly changed over the last couple of years. And maybe, there are at least different opinions on different aspects. The knowledge-intensive based services is clearly a great opportunity for us, but it's also a challenging one. So we talked about the importance of the leadership. We talked about the importance of talent, and yet the size of the price is very tempting. So why should we get it? Why Poland? Why should investment decisions be made on our favor? Why should there be more centers, more headcounts, more development? What needs to happen?
Thank you, and good morning. Can I ask for some big applause to the audience that is still with us at 5 p.m. and you are here to listen to us, so okay. Thank you very much. We are here nice, and Shell home in Krakow is just 10 minutes from here by train in Czerwone Maki, and it's right now home of 5,000 people. That are located here in Krakow, and it was a company decision to locate more than 10 different business lines here in Krakow. And let me also refer to the comments on talent attraction, because it's a home. 20% of our staff are non-Polish nationals, people from really the entire world, attracted by what? By the city, but by jobs that we offer them, complexity and career opportunities, and deciding to move out of their home country and come to Poland and continue their career here in Krakow. And how I hope we will also have a chance later to speak about how important is cooperation between companies, universities, and local governments. Recently, we had 2 major visits of our senior visitors. Our CEO was in Krakow a few weeks ago, and it was also an opportunity to some myth busting of what Shell Business Operations, so GBS is, and what are the capabilities of our people. And this year we celebrate 18 years of our presence. And in Poland, hopefully also in other countries, 18 years is a sign of the maturity. And it was only possible, both this growth and this long presence, there are 2 aspects of it. One is that our people, the willingness to constantly learn new things and be ready to take new roles. This is not like this, that when we have new roles, new teams, we only attract from externally. Now, there are people internally that build the backbone of the teams and unwilling to do something different. Today I do finance operations job. Tomorrow I do, maybe CP, maybe other jobs. But people here were really willing to learn and start new things. But the second thing is that we need our company to believe in Krakow, believe in this model, and decide to move more knowledge-intensive roles to Krakow. And as I said, just a few weeks ago, we had our CEO visit to Krakow, and our interest was not really that much to talk too much about the past, but most of the visits were spent with the people, not with management, with the people that do the job. And people that, they were sharing their challenges, but they were also willing to talk about opportunities. And it was really great to hear from our CEO in his feedback that not only people here he met, and he was not aware, to be honest, that were competent and skilled, but also people that are willing and able to challenge the status quo. And we talk about the future that is unknown. I think that's one of the capabilities that we need. People that are not only able to challenge the status quo, but also willing and able to propose new solutions and design new solutions. Yeah? So I see opportunity for us. I see opportunity for Krakow to be the brain of that company for the future.
It's a fantastic answer. Now, when we talk about people and certain competencies that we would like them to have, or what we see being appreciated by the senior managers, when you look at your recruitment processes, and I guess most of us were hiring over the last 12 months, a quick kind of a question, and I'm looking for quick answers. Do you see any shifts in the patterns? Like, is the new generation entering the market? Will they be known for the same quantities, or will they develop something new? It's an open question. It's not on the list.
If I can, so maybe before I answer, we were talking with Grzegorz in the backstage. So one of my first experiences in GBS was actually at Shell. I was a consultant back in 2004, 2005, and that something I want to say is, I think, still valid. Yes, that the team was kind of developing the site and was very, very open for new scope of business. Was really very, very open. They did not know because the business was kind of developing, but they hardly said no to the new scope of business. Even the team didn't know how to do things. So I think a message for us as we develop this kind of high value business is that we may not know how to do this now, but this is a challenge and opportunity for us as leaders to learn how to do these things and kind of embrace this challenge. So otherwise, we will do what we do currently. So just want to echo that, because that's, I think, the success factor of now Shell having 5,000 people in Krakow. So back to the question, I truly believe that the new generation of colleagues we have on board can truly bring new spark to our companies. Yes, I think they are much more open, much more bold. They ask questions. They are a bit more challenging to manage. Of course, that's something for us. But it's simply a new spark. They learn very quickly. They are very digital savvy. So I think we just need to give them space to develop. We just need to give them tools and encourage them to build new things for us and also learn from them. I think we all learn from the people. So I truly believe this could be a true spark to our companies and to the whole industry.
Fantastic. Patrycja, 2 minutes review?
Maybe something from my experience. When I have a new talent in front of me and the person starts with why we do it in this way, or if the follow-up comment is, I don't know how, but I will figure it out, then for sure the person will have a job in my team, because I think the curiosity, boldness, I think those are the two main competences that are the competences of the future that will help us to move to the next level.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Kasia, I almost can't see you because it's like the way that
I'm here, still.
Look, it takes two for a tango, right? And likely even more to create an environment where an industry like ours can grow. So recently I was looking at some numbers that were pulled by the colleagues from Mercer, and the outcome of this was that we're basically losing some of our top talents either to corporate jobs in Western Europe, in the United States, or some senior positions basically getting relocated out of Poland. Now, this is not an easy situation because it almost questions like, is Poland brand enough? Like, are we strong enough? Do people believe they can build their career with us? From the perspective of the city, from the perspective of universities, what can be done and what maybe you need from us to make this a successful, really strong ecosystem that is going to bring talents to Poland rather than send them elsewhere?
Well, of course, there are those two words, so cooperation and communication. But it's not only about this. I believe, and it's from my personal experience in the city hall, that Krakow won when there are global crises. So when the financial crisis was, Krakow won. Of course, the sector won, and the Krakow also won. Then we have the pandemic crisis, and it also showed that Krakow business services sector is really strong, and therefore the city is also strong. And then the war, and the war showed that we, the Polish nation, is very creative and very open for cooperation when there are crises. And I believe that this is very important for innovative business, for knowledge-intense services. When we are innovative, when we are creative, and what we shall learn as Polish people is to be creative also during the peacetime. So this is something very important. And I believe that is a challenge for us as the city, for the companies, for the universities. I see some changes. For example, last week I had some different conversation about, for example, developing the cosmic sector here in Krakow. Many things are going on in this sector in Krakow, and what is very good thing is that, for example, at AGH University, so Technical University, on the stage of the engineering studies master thesis, there will be a must for students to cooperate in the scientific circles, and then they need to have the project together. So this is something that, for example, was in our research project, Balance of Competences. It was made like 10 years ago. And of course, the knowledge, so-called hard knowledge among students is really good, is really on the good level. But there was some problems with the so-called soft skills. And now we see that the universities are changing. We are changing at the cities, as the city, and the companies are changing because they are more and more open for the social initiatives, for the initiatives that we make together as the city, the business, and the NGO sector. And this is something that I believe can make us more resilient because it helps us to get away from our bubbles. We are all in our bubbles, and this is a problem. This is a very big problem because we think that everybody thinks like us. And it's not true. It's not true. And I believe that cooperation and communication, as I said at the beginning, really are the key words for us, for all of us.
Thank you.
Yeah, you mentioned cooperation between the city and the companies, and let me give 2 examples of what we did here in Krakow. And I would like to say it because, yes, we focus on the job and on career path, but people, we all want to have a meaning in life, yes? And, you know, like, new generations want to feel that they also support the community and they do something outside the job. And many times today, the Russian aggression to Ukraine was mentioned, and like all what we did as a community, as a society, as a country, 2022. We know that support for the Ukraine and for the refugees is not a sprint; it's a marathon. And just 2 examples on how Shell in Krakow, together with City of Krakow and local Krakow NGOs, supported the community. We granted 1,500 laptops to the NGOs that were first used by the families and later for the use of the NGOs. And together with the City of Krakow and International Bond, it's NGOs in Krakow. There is a education and support center in Nowa Huta that will serve both migrant but also local residents with legal support, with language school. That, you know, this is exactly providing the long-term support. And our employees are encouraged, and we don't have to encourage, they really do this volunteer in this support center. They also provide language lessons, yes? And it's a little bit direction responsible business, but I think all of it, we need this in our environment to keep the talents, to be able to create even more sophisticated jobs.
Great stuff, and thank you for those very good examples of collaboration between the cities and the business. It's quite clear, and that was also part of the conversation that we have had on the ABSL chapter meeting about a month ago, that no one alone can win this. So like a city is just not going to be strong enough to attract enough investment to really grow the scale. The country without the business and without engaged cities cannot really attract enough investments because it will operate in an empty universe. And the business in itself, without a good collaboration and dialogue, will also not have a sufficient leverage to really bring the talents in. And obviously, if any of us could bring weather like in Spain to Poland, that could also help for those who are traveling for work from a good location with a bit of a sun. But that's maybe in the notes for next year and some of the to-dos. Good, we're left with 9 minutes. I wanted to ask you one last question, and I'll give you approximately 2 minutes, so we're going to run over only by 2. The question is, how do we survive as an industry the next 5 years, and how do we come up on top of the attractiveness index, if that's even possible? And I'm going to start with you, Andrew, because you're smiling.
How do we survive for the next 5 years? Well, we're doing a pretty good job at the moment, so we're in a good place to start. I think like all these things, we need to have a plan. We need to know where we want to get to, and how we're going to get there. What are the stage posts on that plan? Where do we want to take our GBS centres? It could be in 5 years' time we have a completely different idea, but we need direction, we need purpose in everything that we do. Our biggest risk is, to be honest, I would say our biggest risk is not having the ambition to be the best, not having the ambition to move ourselves up that value chain where we're really making a positive contribution to the businesses. So that's my bit. I haven't done 2 minutes, but I hope that's enough.
Thank you.
So my turn. Well, 5 years is a pretty long time. When I look at the past, usually we're talking about the transformation that was taking us 2 years. Post-COVID, we were talking about the transformation that was always taking us around 1 year. And I can tell you since last year, in 3M especially, when we think about the transformation and moving things, we are counting that in months, and we are not a small company. So the 5 years horizon is a pretty long one for me, but when I think, and I also don't like the word of survival, I prefer plan and action, and taking conscious decision on a corporate level and proper execution with a bold and curious people behind. That would be something what I will say, and I will close with that.
Fantastic. Greg?
Externally, it's a cooperation between our industry, companies, local governments, not only Krakow, but also other local governments, also the universities. And I spoke to some colleagues, and here in Krakow, together ABSL and Krakow University of Economics, there is a GBS study. And I heard that the first pool of graduates will complete the education this year. Yeah, but this is where we can really not just wait for the candidates to come, but we can influence the program, and we can also, influence and talk to the universities to tell them what we expect, what kind of skills we have, and of course support them on education as trainers, as lecturers. Internally, we didn't talk about it much, but cost discipline. Yeah? So even there are aspects we cannot maybe influence, but still there are a lot of elements here that we can influence. So this cost discipline will be one thing.
Thank you.
Yeah, I agree with all what was said. So I think the first thing to survive next 5 years, we should stay fit and healthy, first of all. The second thing is that we compete with our headquarters, yes? So I think we should think how our headquarters think and stay relevant and be even better and propose things to our headquarters than vice versa. So I think that's quite important to understand what is relevant, what is not relevant, and to drive this innovation that we talk a lot. And be practical. And the last thing is building a community and ecosystem. I think this conference is one of the examples how we do it, but I think we should be much more practical, pragmatic. Do not compete between our companies, but really cooperate much more. Take a lot from other companies, share and bring these ideas to our corporates. So I think this is slightly missing, the practical approach and knowledge sharing across our companies. I think if we look on the US and other markets, this is highly developed market where companies work together, create partnerships, where I think we should learn from them. So I think that's a bit for us to initiate further.
Kasia?
Well, I believe that there is something in all those speeches, and when we are talking about the city, the perspective is very wide. So we are talking about residents that are here, about gaining new residents, about companies that are here, about gaining new companies. We are talking about students. We are talking about the balance between buildings and greenery. So there are many challenges ahead of the city, and I believe that together with business, with the universities, and also with the government, with the national government, we will be able to change the perspective of the city, that we would be more open for risky ideas, because this is somehow the problem of the public institutions because of the financing. Yes, of course, we are in the public sector. We have the public money, so we need to be not so risky. But it's sometimes very good to be more risky because of the business, because of the startups, because of the new ideas on the universities. And we need to be open for those initiatives, for those things that are going on among here, and also in the city, in the country, and globally. And I believe that business should be more like open for social things, so not only profit-oriented. Of course, this is the main goal, but still we need to change the perspective. And universities need to have backup from business and from the city, from the government. Because those young people that are at the universities are our future. Without them, there will be nothing in not maybe 5 years, but in 15, 20 years. We need to cooperate with them. We need to see their needs, to have them here in Krakow, in Poland, in all the locations that we need to develop.
Kasia, great stuff. Like, throughout all the years I've been going to different events, I don't quite recall a city or state representative talking about taking controlled risks, you know, getting out of the comfort zone. So I'm proud to hear that during this panel. Wrapping up, I heard a lot about ambition, about having a good plan, about the importance of collaboration, focusing on what matters and also taking some controlled risks. Work as a community and think big to make sure that we not only see our particular interests, but think in a larger scale of a community or an ecosystem. I really like the closing sentence you've made about the importance of people and making sure that everything we do is sustainable, and also from the development perspective, working with the university. So one thing from my side, just to encourage all of you, is to remember about the investment in people and investment in leadership, because it's going to be the next generation of us in this room who will lead this industry in the years to come and will decide which way we go, like really which way we go. Thank you so much for today. Appreciate very much your patience and the fact that you've stayed in such a large amount for so long. I guess a big round of applause to our panelists and you. Thank you.